Fiona, an autistic mum of an autistic daughter, shares her thoughts about the benefits of connecting with the wider autistic community and some personal insights into her experience. Something that really interests me is whether you feel that the fact that you are an autistic parent benefits the way you can parent an autistic child.
Yes. I think overall I think I get her a bit more, and can empathise with her. There are also disadvantages actually, because you'll become aware that maybe I don't model social situations for her to learn from as much as a non-autistic parent who may have more coffee mornings and dinner parties as routines. So there are downsides, but there's also, in terms of getting her and seeing where she's coming from, it was quite interesting because even before her diagnosis and before my diagnosis, when she was non-verbal, and I recall using logic and rationale because that's how I get through life, and she responded to it. So I think my natural way is to use logic and rationale about stuff, and that's really helped with sort of helping her deal with change and stuff. So for example, if I was to give an example, it was a colder day outside, so we needed to put a coat on. So usually sort of throwing change, it didn't make sense for her. Now I know it's just because, hey, you told me before do this and now you're saying do this. So I would put a reason for it. So Emily, put your coat on, it's colder today. We all need our coats on. And that was enough to do it.
Whereas the rest of us might have gone, just get your coat on because I told you, which is not helpful.
Or there's behaviour, there's what's this behaviour, not understanding it and things spiralling.
And do you think as a parent of an autistic child who is not autistic themselves, there is benefit to learning from other autistic parents? I mean, it seems like a bit of a no-brainer to me, but I wonder whether it's something that happens very often.
Well, it's very important for all parents, even autistic parents, to connect with the wider autistic community. And that sounds a bit weird to say maybe because, if I'm autistic, why didn't I get it? But every autistic person is different. And my daughter was very different to me. I didn't really fully understand my daughter when she was younger. And it was only really through connecting with the wider autistic community to understand really about how, sensory issues drive things. Because, I don't have lots of sensory issues myself. Although getting older, I'm now becoming more aware of sensory differences and how it does impact me. My daughter was non-verbal until about when she was 4, and we found ways to help foster communication. I didn't, and her toileting was delayed, but no, I didn't know that these things can be quite normal for many autistic children. That, is a developmental difference. It doesn't mean to say our children aren't ever going to grow up not getting that.
Yes.
Some people may never talk because they got severe sensory motor disruption. Everyone's very different, and it's understanding about the internal autistic experience and how, behaviour isn't defiant or maladaptive, or it's not non-compliance. It's just a valid reaction to anxiety.
When I look around at supports that are available for parents who have autistic children, there's the support groups and there's advice and whatever. But a lot of that is around either professional support and advice or other non-autistic parents who have autistic children. Mm-hmm. And I wonder whether there's something missing there. There's a gap there where parents who could really so benefit from the advice and guidance of another adult who has autism, isn't there?
I think generally there is a big issue with parents connecting with autistic people. And I'm not just talking about non-autistic parents really either, but in order to understand the internal experience, things aren't being made very easy either, because what I'm seeing out there in the sort of autism community is a bit of a divide where parents and therapists are not wanting to listen to autistic adults. That backlash is coming, I think, because what autistic adults are saying is a good way to help support autistic children there's a bit of a disconnect with the way they're saying and with the way that maybe certain therapies or treatments that parents are doing. And there are some therapists out there too, and also some people on social media who are sort of fueling this divide and keeping parents away to say, they're not like your low-functioning child, don't listen to the autistic people. They just think it's a bed of roses, they're trying to glorify autism. And this is a whole nother discussion, so we won't go down there. But, there seems to be this sort of idea that how you are when you're 2 will reflect how, they can look at an autistic adult and look at a 2-year-old and think, nah, they're not the same. But you really don't know the trajectory. And you can't tell on social media, if someone can communicate by type, people are assuming they're also verbal. People are assuming there is no learning disability. But you can't tell. There are a lot of people on social media who are non-verbal. And I think, the hashtag for those on social media, hashtag asking autistics or actually autistic, will throw up a lot of autistic adults from all over the spectrum.
Excellent, because that was going to be my next question is, how does a neurotypical parent then connect with the autistic community?
Social media is a great way to connect with autistic people, because if you think about autism, we're not the best at sort of going face to face and having a social chit chat over coffee.
No.
So it's a great way to connect on that. There's the hashtags I mentioned. There's also a few good groups now, and I don't know whether that have been set up. In fact, one group called Autism Inclusivity on Facebook was set up just a year ago. It's hit 5,000 members in 1 year, set up by Emma Dalmain. And the idea of that was for autistic people are in that, to provide support and guidance to parents of children wherever they are on the autism spectrums. It is tricky as a parent. You have a child you don't understand, who are moving in ways that look weird or behaving in ways that don't appear rational. But I think the only way I really fully started to understand my daughter, and even myself, was when I sort of read and connected with the autistic community. The late Donna Williams was a great autistic advocate and activist. She said, right from the start, from the time someone came up with the word autism, the condition has been judged from the outside by its appearances and not from the inside according to how it is experienced.
Gosh.
It's very important for parents to be able to accept that their child is autistic, and that it's not something that you can treat or cure, because it's an implicit part of how their child experiences the world, how their brain processes information. So I think what we can best do is to try and understand what is driving our child's behaviours. So, why might our child be resistant to things? Why might our child stim or move like this a lot? What is that about? This is stimming is a harmless thing that enables autistic people to regulate, to self-regulate. And I think it's very important to, just by in connecting with the autistic community, reading the work from various people, it does help you understand and empathise with what your child might be going through.
At what point in this journey did you yourself connect with the autistic community? Because I'm sure that's been part of your learning as well.
Yes, very much so. I probably wasn't as quick off the mark as I wish I had been, but I know that 12 years ago social media wasn't such a big thing. So it's only really for me in the last sort of 3 to 4 years that I've really connected, and I've learned so much since then. And I have made lots of mistakes in the past. So I'd Googled before to find out about autism, and I have over-therapied, you could say, my daughter. I did go down the path of thinking, because she's so different to me and I didn't understand her, that she does need fixing. I need to make every moment teachable. So where things have changed now is, speaking to other autistic adults as well, and other parents who are further down the line, who are also engaged with the autistic tribe, that autism is a developmental difference. things will happen at different times. And what we can do is create the right environment to support the child to be the best they can be. It's not saying there's nothing you can do. There are many things you can do, many things to help foster communication, however it looks, many things to provide opportunities to for your child to try experience new things, but in a way that they feel safe doing so. Taking a strengths-based approach. Connecting with the autistic community is a whole different language. It's quite empowering, but it's also, it's not just looking at what the child can't do or thinking the differences are problems, but accepting that's who the child is and supporting them to use strategies to navigate the mainstream environment. I don't like looking back and thinking, all the times I tried to correct everything that my daughter was doing. And it's about trust. I didn't trust autism. That's why I felt I had to be in there, therapying every moment, directing, shaping, changing. And by standing back and trusting that, well, when the well-being's met, when my daughter feels safe, when her anxiety needs are supported, she's doing the most amazing things.
A lot of what we've spoken about is this benefit of connecting with the autistic community. So I think it would be of benefit to just summarise the different ways that people can do that.
There's social media, as I said, is a great place. So there's a couple of hashtags, hashtag actuallyautistic or hashtag askingAutistics. There's a few good groups online, and I'll give you a link to a blog which sets some of those out.
We'll put those underneath the film.
And the name's great. And these groups have parents who want nothing more than to help you understand your child. Then there's also lots of blogs. So, if you want to hear from a non-verbal person, and there's a few increasing number of autistic-led organisations being set up now. And a few in Scotland where the members are really happy to come along and chat and help and support. And we can put some of the reference there too, hopefully.
Yeah, we'll put those underneath as well. So thank you, Fiona. That's been a fascinating insight into your journey, and we will be talking again. Thank you very much.
No, thank you.
Thank you.